Young people are pretty much everything because they, on top of just being awesome, they decide what your country's going to look like. And I got to work this morning and I had this email from a viewer of the show, and tell me this one doesn't hit you. Quote, I go to Arizona State University. I'm a political science major. In my classes, we have discussions. Today's someone in my class was saying that Mao was a great leader and he wished Joe Biden would learn a thing or two from Mao. I pointed out that Mao was a murderous dictator who killed more people than Hitler multiple times. He never once acknowledged me. He was unwavered. You're right when you say that communism is a religion. Jack, how are we failing young people so bad that there's a single person in this country who thinks Mao was a good guy?
It's terrible. It starts so early on now, with the education system. And, these kids are going to these public schools that are indoctrinating them with just a false reality. Just the example that you just gave to not know basic history like that. Right now, these kids are just being pushed through school. Unfortunately, their parents are stuck on their cell phones, and everyone's stuck into this new media world, and really not paying attention to kids, not giving kids that wholesome foundation. And it goes back to civics, man. If you don't love the country in which you live, if you're not taught that, if you should be demanded upon you to love the nation in which you live and where folks are fighting for your freedom. And those things are just not communicated to our kids these days. This is very sad. And I work in public schools. I actually have an ongoing youth program that I've been running for several years. And so when I talk to these kids, I see it firsthand. And it's really sad and unfortunate to see how social media, rap music, these crazy movies and video games, all this stuff is raising our kids now. So you're right. Their reality is so tainted. They think a leader like Mao is a good guy. It's so unfortunate.
Jack, I wanted to ask you about that specifically because I agree with you 100%. I tell people all the time, it sounds hacky and cliche, but really it just comes down to the fact we have a patriotism problem. Half the country hates the freaking place. They just do. But when I was a kid, I didn't grow up in the 50s. I saw plenty of rap music videos. I had Snoop Dogg and Eminem playing on my stereo sometimes. I watched movies. I played video games on occasion. Granted, it was Super Tecmo Bowl and whatnot. But I did these things. Did those things change? Or did the parents change? Or did the education change? Because something changed.
Something really did change. And that's called fatherhood. And it's called fatherlessness, which is the that has shaken our nation. It's a crisis that is biblical. The Bible says, he will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to the fathers. And that's when you are in the trying times. And that's what we're in right now when you have 77% of black babies born with no father in the home. You have almost 50% of Hispanics, almost every race, including whites, have a huge issue with fatherlessness. And fatherlessness doesn't just mean a father not being there. Sometimes you can have a dad in the home, but he's really not a dad. Fathers have to start being fathers again, bringing the rod back out. I'm all for paddling in schools. I'm all for keeping kids accountable. Kids are not held accountable anymore. So, when we grew up, we could listen to Tupac Shakur. I could jam DJ Screw and all these other rappers. I could listen to them because I knew if I got out of line and did what I was rapping, my dad would have hit me upside my head. And so many kids are missing that authority figure right now, whether it's their coach, whether it's their mentor, but you need a physical presence in your life, and that's biblical.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me. Thanks.